Hello entrepreneurs, have you ever wondered what is the success formula for entrepreneurship and living life successfully? Right? If yes, you're at the right place. I've been training hundreds of entrepreneurs and almost all the time they have been asking me, this one question, that what is the success formula for living a wonderful entrepreneur's life as well as, giving time to self and the family, right? So, hi, my name is Sachin Mahajan, an entrepreneur turned business coach, married to an angel, father of two energetic sons, and working on a mission of helping at least 50,000 entrepreneurs build a new age autopilot business so that their business works and grows without them and they end up leaving a legacy for generations to come. Right? So let's talk about the entrepreneur success formula in this particular video. If you're watching me on Facebook, YouTube, and if you've not subscribed to our channel or to our page, please subscribe so that you start getting these videos almost all the time and you keep learning for entrepreneurship, for building a new age business and putting it on autopilot. Right, so let's begin. Friends, the most important part in our lives is basically an entrepreneur's life is, we as an entrepreneurs tend to, feel that we need to do a lot of things to achieve success. But let me tell you that it is not true. You are not supposed to do too many things in your life to achieve success. What is that first thing you need in your life, in your business, is tremendous clarity. Have you heard of this particular principle called 80-20 principle? It is also called as Pareto's principle. This particular principle is applicable anywhere and everywhere where things happen by the way. So if your business, if your life is happening by the way, if you are not designing it right, this particular principle will find a place in your life, in your business. And it's like this, 20% of your activities will be responsible for 80% of your success, and rest 80% will only be responsible for 20% of the success. So the whole idea is all about you finding 20% of the activities, 20% of the things you need to do in your business as an entrepreneur. And once you have this tremendous clarity, let me tell you, you'll be able to create wonderful results in your life, in your business. So I follow this particular rule, and this is applicable to anywhere and everywhere. As I told you, right, 20% of your salespeople will be responsible for 80% of the sales you generate. 20% of your clients will be responsible for 80% of your profit you generate, right? But for that you need to design your business, and to design your business you need to really know where exactly you are able to create results. So clarity is power, right? So the first learning is clarity is power, and you need to have tremendous clarity. Now the second thing is, once you have this clarity, your job is to basically be able to focus on it, right? I've been coaching so many entrepreneurs, and let me tell you, best of the best entrepreneurs decide one thing in a day, and then they come back and they talk about something completely different, which is completely poles opposite from what they have discussed, what they have decided to do, right? So the most important part is ability to focus, right? Have you heard of this law called law of focus? Law of focus says that the one thing which you focus on, you tend to see more of it. It grows and you tend to attract more of it. So the whole idea is all about, once you have this clarity, you should be able to then be able to focus on that clarity. Then only you'll be able to create results, right? So I always keep saying this one thing, that if you want miracles, if you want massive results in your life, in your business, you need to have purity of intention, right? And you should be able to focus on that one. So one pointed quality attention, right? Focus is the key of manifestation. So I hope you are clear about the second point. Once you have clarity, your job is to be able to focus on the clarity you've got, right? So second. The third point in the success formula is basically, once you've got clarity, once you've got focus, then you should be able to hold yourself accountable, right? Because what happens is, as an entrepreneur, what happens is basically we become kings and queens of our kingdom, right? We may decide one thing in a day, and then after 15 days we might not even remember that this is what we have decided, this is what was our goal, right? So the most important part is accountability, right? And for accountability, I always tend to do this one thing, that what you measure is what you manifest, right? So the whole idea is all about holding yourself accountable. And most of the times what happens is that we don't have any accountability partner in our lives, right? So your job is to basically find a wonderful coach who will give you clarity, who will help you focus and hold you accountable for what you decide in your business, in your life, right? So I hope you're clear about this accountability part. Most of the times people are not able to achieve their goals in their lives and their businesses. Basically, as an entrepreneur, we tend to get lot many ideas, and that's where we tend to deviate, and that's where we are not able to hold ourselves accountable, and we don't have any accountability partner as such, right? So I hope you're clear about this first part, clarity. Second, focus. Third is accountability, and the most important part is then fourth, which is motivation. I hope you agree. Rather, you must have experienced in your life that entrepreneurial journey is a lonely journey. What happens is we tend to do something, we tend to get our results, whether it is in line with what we expected or whether it is deviating from the expectations, but ultimately we end up getting results. And if those results are not in line with the expectations, we tend to lose a lot of our energy, a lot of our time. At the same time, we tend to feel dejected, right? That's when the motivation comes into the picture, right? So if you are holding yourself accountable, or if you have a wonderful coach who is holding you accountable, right? The next fourth thing is motivation. Basically, in this lonely journey, there has to be someone in your life who is motivating you to take these actions, motivating you, celebrating your success with you, always inspiring you, motivating you to take actions in your directions, right? And that really helps because most of the times entrepreneurial journey is a lonely journey. So friends, if you have tremendous clarity, if you are able to focus, if you have a wonderful accountability partner, or if you are able to hold yourself accountable by measuring what you are supposed to do, right? And the fourth thing is if you are motivated, or if you have a coach, a guide, a consultant in your life who's helping you to be motivated all the time in your journey, I'm sure you will be able to get whatever success you deserve and you wanted in your life, in your business, right? So as a business coach, I help achieve all these four things to my entrepreneur clients. At the moment, I'm coaching more than 100 businesses and their entrepreneurs, right? The first thing I help them to do is tremendous clarity. You are not supposed to do too many things. Second is then I help them to focus on it, because that's what matters. Unless you focus, you're not able to you will not be able to create results in your life. And when you are and how do we create these results is basically the best thing is creating a wonderful scoreboard where we are actually measuring certain goals, at the same time activities, so that we know whether we are on the track, whether we are deviating, whether we are not on the track, and stuff like that, right? So that we can take corrective actions, learn from those measurements, right? And fourth thing is motivation. If you're doing the right stuff, I am the one who will be motivating you all the time. If you're deviating from your actions, or probably the roadmap, you are the one who is going to be hold accountable, right? So that's what I keep doing with my entrepreneur clients. If you like this particular video, like, share, subscribe, and send it to the entrepreneurs whom you think that they might get something out of this particular video.